Before the Islamic Revolution of 1979, Iran was one of the most stable and secular countries in the Middle East. Under the monarchy, the country actively developed, maintaining friendly relations with key geopolitical players. But since then, Iran has undergone radical changes, gradually turning into a pariah state with authoritarian theocratic rule. It all began during the Qajar dynasty, when in 1908 large oil reserves were discovered in Iran. This triggered a rivalry between Britain and the Russian Empire. During World War I, forces from these powers occupied the country, but Iran managed to maintain its independence. Then, during World War II, neutral Iran was once again occupied, this time by British and Soviet troops, who in 1941 forced Shah Reza Pahlavi to hand over power to his son, Mohammad Reza. The reign of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi marked a period of modernization. The country transformed into a secular state with strong ties to the West. Among the reforms was the nationalization of the oil industry in 1951, introduced by Prime Minister Mossadegh. This triggered a British oil embargo, and in 1953, a coup occurred involving US and British intelligence services. The Shah gained unlimited power, established a repressive system with the Savak secret police, and in 1963 launched the so-called White Revolution, a series of reforms including land reform, education, expansion of women's rights, and privatization. However, these reforms provoked outrage from powerful traditionalists and religious leaders. At the center of the opposition stood Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who publicly criticized the Shah. In 1964, he was exiled, but Khomeini's popularity continued to grow. When in 1978 state propaganda labeled him a traitor, mass protests erupted, culminating in the Shah's departure in January 1979 and Khomeini's triumphant return to Tehran. On February 11, 1979, the military handed power to the opposition. Iran officially became an Islamic republic. Women lost most of their gained rights, a morality police was introduced, and the state transitioned to strict Sharia enforcement. Iran began positioning itself as the center of a new Islamic revolution, supporting radical movements throughout the Middle East.
Our revolution will not be limited to Iran. It is the starting point of a great revolution of the Islamic world.
The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, founded in 1979, became not only a powerful security force, but also a significant economic player. Iran supported militants in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and other countries. Relations with the United States and Israel became extremely hostile. Despite numerous protests and waves of discontent within the country, the regime endured. From time to time, moderate presidents were elected, such as Mohammad Khatami and Hassan Rouhani, who sought to restore relations with the West. In 2015, a nuclear agreement was signed, easing sanctions against Tehran. But in May 2018, the Trump administration unilaterally withdrew from the agreement, accusing Iran of violations and dishonestly adhering to its terms. However, according to the IAEA, Iran had mostly complied with the agreement until the United States' withdrawal, with all 8 agency reports in 2016 and 2017 confirming compliance. Although there were minor technical breaches, such as exceeding the heavy water limit, Iran reported and resolved them on its own. Thus, Trump's decision was more of a political move than a response to serious violations. This triggered a new wave of tension. In response, Iran began reducing its compliance with the deal and gradually shifted towards Moscow and Beijing. With the start of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine in 2022, Iran became one of the Kremlin's few allies, supplying drones and missiles. Particular outrage in Iran was sparked by the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in September 2022, who was killed after being detained by the morality police. Protests engulfed the entire country, but the regime responded with force. Hundreds killed, thousands arrested. In May 2024, President Ebrahim Raisi died in a helicopter crash. In June of that year, reformist Masoud Pezeshkian won the election, promising to change domestic policy and restore ties with the West. However, ultimate power in Iran remains with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei since 1989. Can Iran change its course and move away from the axis of evil? In my opinion, as long as Ali Khamenei remains in power, not likely. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments.